We are anime.
So, that is a fucking opening. Honestly, it has become one of my favorite openings that we've ever had the privilege to cover. Honestly, we were talking about Berserk.
That we are. Something very prolific and very, very astounding in the anime/manga world.
It has inspired so many fucking things. We're talking about Cloud's Buster Sword. We're talking about Dark Souls. We're talking about something that is bigger than most animes have ever become. They are a global icon, and it has taken me 28 years of being alive to sit down and watch this fucking anime that is not much older than I am. I mean, this thing came out in 1989 by Kentaro Mora. He is a fantastic man that just recently passed away.
Say rest in peace, by
Rest
the
in
way,
peace,
yeah.
yes.
And the series, I'm not sure if they have some kind of writing force that knows the ending. Hopefully they do.
It's already over.
It's already over?
It's done. Yeah, they released the last chapter a few months ago.
Not too long ago,
Yeah.
Really? So
Yep.
it's done.
Yep. It is done. They've closed the book on that one, so to speak. And, talk about something that's gone for, 24 years, if not longer. I mean, math might be off on that. Actually, no, it'd be 34 years.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this series has I mean, everybody kept telling me, when Mason sat down with us and said, I want Guts to be my character icon.
They both stared at me for a second.
For the logo of...
Okay.
I was like, that makes sense. You like Berserk.
It took me a second. It took me a second because I was like, why does he...
Yeah.
I asked Riley, I was like, who the fuck is Guts? And he was like, it is the guy from Berserk.
Yeah.
And then we both sat down and we were like, have you ever heard Mason bring up Berserk?
No.
No,
No.
that's the thing.
Not
is
really.
I've known about Berserk for a very long time, probably since, maybe 8 or 9 years I've known about it. I've had tons of people try to get me into it, and I always just kind of pushed it off to the side and never really paid too much attention to it. And then recently, I kind of just went down the rabbit hole of I watched the whole original 97 anime. And
Did you went hard in it?
yeah, I fucking binged it in 3 days, if maybe even less than that. I watched the Golden Age movies, kind of ad-libbed them more or less, watched certain parts that weren't in the show and then pieced a few things together. Did also recently find out that there is actually 3 or 4 more seasons of it on Crunchyroll, but it follows the same path as the animation for the Golden Age movies. So it's definitely not very intriguing to me, but it's what does kind of draw me to it is it does explore more on several different arcs from the manga that are really important to the story.
Because honestly, the first thing I have seen by Berserk is I YouTubed it. I wanted to know what Berserk was. I wanted to know why one of my best friends in the entire world thought this anime was just top notch above everything else we've talked about. And I sat down and I YouTubed the 1997 Berserk series, and it is 100% subbed on YouTube for free for you to sit down and watch. It is 8.5 hours long, 26 episodes, and it follows a main character named Guts. He is a lonely mercenary in a kingdom full of war, and it is set in an era of King Arthur, the Holy Grail, Knights and
more or
Grail.
less, yeah.
Yeah. And it has this character that is, his name is Guts. He's a fantastic fucking fighter, and he's got the sword that is bigger than his fucking body.
Tries to be silent protagonist.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah.
He starts out from basically nothing. He's more or less like a war orphan.
Yeah.
That's pawned off to a warlord. And, to be honest, I never really pieced it together whether or not the guy who he was with was his father. They kind of made hints at it in the anime because I remember the guy was talking about his mom died and he was basically blaming Guts for it. So anyway, this guy took him in, trained him to be a swordsman. By like the age of 13 or 14, he's fighting in this fucking guy's mercenary army alongside of him.
And he's a fucking stunner,
wielding
too.
a sword as big as him.
Exactly.
Everybody makes fun of him because
Yeah.
he's like, dude, that's too big for you. You need a smaller sword, and he refuses.
Yeah, he's just like, no, I'm not doing that. This is
This
this is my shit. This is my style. You're not gonna get me to change it. And it's crazy. Like he grows up and he sticks with the mercenary band, and then he kind of goes off on his own after a little while. Some things go down. Let's just say, I don't want to spoil anything. And he ends up joining up with another group, which is called Band of the Hawks. And
Oh, fuck. And we meet a character named Griffith.
That's where shit starts to go down, man.
This perfect, angelic character. I'm talking, this man has a fucking white horse. He looks
Silver
like
hair, I think.
silver
Yeah.
fucking hair,
Silver's
blue
blue hair,
eyes,
blue
well
eyes.
fit, looks like a fucking elf
Yeah.
from any kind of Lord of the Rings you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Honestly, this guy, he jumps down and Guts is like, I'm a fucking... No, actually, Guts has nothing to do with... Or Griffith has nothing to do with Guts being a part of the band.
No.
So, Guts is leaving this war that he had just gotten done fighting, and the Band of the Hawk, which is Griffith's group, is there.
Yeah.
I'm
and
not sure
pick
if they
him
were
out.
part of the losing... Were they a part of the losing army in the beginning?
I think they were just there.
They were just there. They might have been just checking out the fight.
Yeah.
But it was a band of mercenaries. And as Guts is leaving this battle that he just fucking knocked heads in as a kid, a few of his guys, Griffith's guys, jump down and say, we're going to fucking kill this guy. We're going to fucking
they
get
try
him.
to go after him, and dude, Guts just fucks them up, and he kills like a few of their guys, and then Griffith's like, hey, I want to talk to you. Like, I think you should join me. And Guts is basically like, yeah, I don't care. Go fuck yourself.
Pretty much, yeah.
And then they have it out. They battle, and literally the terms are like, Griffith's like, if I win, I own you. You're joining my squad, and that's that. Guts is like, all right, well, I'm just going to fucking kill you.
Because that's
and be
not
on
going to
my
happen.
way."
He agrees to it. At least
Yeah.
that's what he thinks.
Yeah. And then Griffith just lays the fucking smackdown on him. Doesn't even really have to try to fight him because he's such a skilled fighter and like in a league of his own compared to Guts at that time.
I was about to say the whole duality of like Guts and Griffith is one of my favorite parts because, like you're saying, Griffith is angelic and he has a small
He's
sword. He's
beautiful.
very finesse, and Guts is just pure strength build, man.
Pure
And he
fucking rage.
literally called
Anytime-
the Black Swordsman.
Yeah,
they're
it-
literally polar opposites. I love it.
If you think about it, like when I see Griffith, I see a blue. I see a calm sea of blue. I
Yeah.
see something that is there that I wish to know I wish I could understand more of.
Right.
That is what I see when I see Griffith as a character. When I see Guts, I'm like, oh, this guy's just a brute. This guy just doesn't give a fuck. He's got some backstory. It's probably nothing crazy. He probably got
Childhood trauma.
childhood trauma. Yeah. We're
Typical
moving the fuck on.
protagonist anime
Right.
character trope.
I've heard this before. We've seen it a bajillion times. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure like Mugen from like Samurai Champloo had that kind of background. I
Yeah.
mean, like
Yeah.
we have this character, and he's so angelic, and he beats this fucking swordsman whose sword is the size of his fucking body, like it is nothing, with a single-handed sword that is meant for fencing.
Yeah.
It is so fucking intense that Griffith, at one point during the fight, jumps on Guts' sword to taunt him.
Yeah.
It is fucking incredible.
Oh, he doesn't like just jump on it. He slowly falls on it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's graceful as
Yeah.
fuck. It's graceful as
Well,
fuck.
I'm pretty sure that's how he ends the battle. He like sticks his sword in his
Right in
face,
his
and he's just
face,
like,
yeah.
"You lost."
Yeah, that's 100% how he loses.
Oh no, actually, what happens after that is Guts literally flips him off the sword, and then they lose their swords, and Guts runs up to him and just starts beating the
punching
fuck
him,
out of him.
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
But then there's another way he loses it somehow, and he's like, "All right, well, you're joining up with me now." I
yeah,
own you.
so Griffith considers this binding worded contract as law. I mean, we're at a Knight's Tale right now, where the only thing a man really has is his word. So you've got this man, this mercenary, this fucking cutthroat of a person who is about to join your army, and this guy makes a binding life contract with them to join his group, the Band of the Hawk, and they are a group of misfit mercenaries. They have no royalty. They have no skills. They have nothing. They are just a group of ragtag fucking kids.
Yeah, and what's great is every battle they're in, they're maybe like a group of like 3,000 soldiers, and they'll fight off armies that are like 10,000 people and fucking dominate.
100%, and they'll lose like a small number, like enough for them not to mention, and that is the basis of this anime. That is the first like 3 episodes, and it is just slam, boom, 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 war, fight, death the entire time.
Yeah.
And you've got this main character whose sword is literally the size of his body, cutting through people. That horses, people, everything. He
does not give a single fuck.
No.
Dude, he is just the best quote of that anime is that he doesn't have a dream. His only dream is to see what his sword can go through.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is the best fucking thing about the show is we have this main character who you feel could be considered a side character in his own anime, and you've got this other angelic character just leading this war, and they are fucking murdering everybody. The imagery is amazing.
I will say they pretty much do share main character. I mean, it's about Guts,
more or less,
but
yeah.
like Griffith, it's about them, and
Dude,
They're
about
just as
them.
important.
They later on their fates get intertwined, obviously, because it's anime. But yeah, they're basically they share the spotlight in my mind.
Yeah,
But
Griffith he's more or less like the second protagonist of the show because he's the one that's got like the holy war. Like he's got this devout plan to become a king because he has what is called the Bailet, which is basically a necklace or I don't know what you'd call it, kind of like an idol of some sort.
I would say like it looks like a demon's heart.
it's an egg.
It's an egg-shaped thing that has human features on it, like eyes, nose, and lips, and it reacts to the wearer. And basically, they say that the person that possesses this is going to be a king of some kind one day. It's going to be like the leader that saves the world, blah, blah, blah type thing. And that's just a small little footnote for what that actually unlocks later on in the show.
And that's the best part about this anime is it literally slips this shit in like it's nobody's business. I mean, Riley messaged me and he was like, "Hey, he's getting ready to fight the demon." I said, "Pay attention. This is the most important episode." And it's episode 4, and it explains like the next 20 episodes of your fucking life.
Fucking huge deep ass story. Actually, it's not just violence.
Yeah, it's like so you have this like random story in the middle of all this fucking violence because Guts meets Griffith within the first 2 episodes. Episode 3 is just a battle where you see Guts training and actually killing fucking people. In episode 4, again, another battle. He just meets this demon on the inside. He comes up to this cave and his entire platoon's there, and they're like, Guts comes up and he's like, "What's going on? What the fuck's up?" And they're like, 50 of our men have gone in there. They haven't come out. Came out. So Guts is like, "All right, tally-ho, let's go take care of this shit." So he fucking mans up and he goes into this fucking cave, this like castle cave looking thing.
Like ruins, kind of.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So we've got this like ruin-esque vibe, and and Guts is like looking around. There's dead bodies, fucking wall to wall. I mean, there's just dead people everywhere. Blood is just fucking pouring out on the fucking floor. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is so beautiful, the imagery of this anime.
I was gonna say that's one of the, not to throw you off track, but the imagery and the art of this. If you've never seen it, obviously the anime is good, but look up the manga, look up the art for it.
The manga
it's
is
beautiful.
insanely fucking violent
amazing.
and just graphic and grotesque, and I love it.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part about this anime. To not side skirt the conversation, but it's that 90s grungy, grimy feel that 90s anime has. It is like cartoon, but it's
human. It feels very real.
You're right,
Yeah,
and I don't like the new feel to a lot of animes where they have this CGI ass moment where they're walking, and that is what we're going to be talking about later when we get to the movies.
Yeah.
But so
in the ruins.
yes,
we're in the ruins.
We're in
still.
the ruins, and Guts goes through here all harumpity dumpity dump, and he's got his big ass motherfucking sword, and he's ready to fuck somebody up. and this giant ass demon comes out, and at first Guts thinks he's got him, gets smacked like a bitch.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
He does manage to get some hits in though. Like,
Yeah, but then
It really starts to show you that Guts he's not a god. He's still a man.
oh, he's
Right.
still
Yeah,
100%
he's still
a
a man.
He's
See,
still a man.
And that's the thing with Guts is like I made a comment to a friend of mine that's really into this anime before, and I'm like, yeah, it just seems like every time he fights somebody, he's like basically on the brink of fucking death. And she
Yeah.
was just like, yeah, that's
Pretty
how it
much,
is.
yeah.
Every fucking
He's
fight.
human.
Yeah.
He's human. He takes damage. Like
does.
there's no super god mode with him where he can take an aggressive hit and get up and be like, hey,
It's fine. Yeah,
I'm
no.
A-okay. Let's fucking go. Like
Yeah.
there's no Goku here.
When I think of him, one of the second things I think of is him in all bandaged up.
Yeah.
Like after the
Yeah.
fight, there's a lot of the times he doesn't have his armor on. He needs to sit and recover.
This
Yeah.
dude is
Like-
not afraid to sacrifice his fucking body
No,
like
not
any
at
way
all.
whatsoever.
No,
Like,
like I said in the beginning of this episode, I said he has a dream, and his dream is just to see what his sword can cut through. It is literally what kind of force he can put upon something, because he only craves the violence and the dream of this other side character named Griffith. And Griffith steps in the middle of Guts getting his fucking dick beat square into the fucking ground. Griffith steps in and he's like, yo, I got you. And then they tag team and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But then the demon does what demons do and gets the upper fucking hand. And when he gets the upper hand, Griffith passes out and his necklace pops out. And the demon catches it and he sees it and he looks at Guts and he tells him that a prolific vision of the future is going to become a reality. And with that, it is going to be your best friend thinking he is your best friend until the end. He will betray you for his true dream.
Until he's done using you. Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
And that is
And
like,
the demon lets him. He just walks away.
Yeah,
again. And not
he-
obviously you spoiled all of it, which is fine. But
I don't
yeah.
care. This
No,
anime's
it's okay.
been out
It's-
since
I know.
1997. If you
Yeah.
haven't watched
It's
it,
fine.
go fuck yourself. We're talking about it.
But yeah, the fight happens, and then like, if you've seen any anime before, you're like, oh, this is gonna be an epic battle, and this is gonna come out victorious. They lose.
Yeah,
They
they get their
fuck
asses
me.
beat.
They do not win.
The demon forewarns them, tells them the prophecy, and he basically sprouts wings and
He
flies
just
the
goes
fuck
away.
off.
He's like, all right, I'm out. Yeah.
He's like,
It's
you know
been
what? I don't
real.
even have to take care of you guys. You're gonna take care of yourself. So
Yeah.
It's been real. It's been fun, but it's been it has been real fun.
No,
so I'm
out.
I'm out.
peace.
Yeah, and
Yeet.
that's what's really. I mean, and it's such a short moment that it happens within this anime that it literally doesn't seem real, because this godlike character that you've seen just slaughtering people left and right, you get the sense of he is not gonna be just some bitch, dude. He is going through this and he is gonna kill everything he crosses, just like any other anime protagonist, and he gets his fucking ass beat, and it is the most pivotal point of this entire anime.
Well, like Mason was saying, I mean, it's a very like real anime. I mean, he doesn't have any like godlike powers or anything.
There's
I mean,
no
he-
healing option.
no, he's just brute force and strength. There's no like breathing ability or jutsu or
Jutsu, yeah.
like
Kaioken. There's
Kaioken super fucking Saiyan ability.
no
he
gum
uses.
punch.
He literally just taps into his rage and goes fucking
I
nuts.
was say not to be the one that says it, but it's his power is guts, man.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, they named him that for a reason.
Yeah.
So I mean,
His power is willpower.
it's just, determination.
Exactly. Yeah, and boy does he fucking prove himself. There's definitely like I don't know, like I said, it's just such a human fucking experience, like how far this guy will go to fucking put what he puts himself through just to fucking win. I mean, it's nuts.
And I actually have a quote here from Kintaro where it says, "If I have to worry about the ants I crush beneath my feet, I couldn't even walk around." And that couldn't depict Guts better and Griffith at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You come in my way, you're fucking done.
So that quote actually comes from one of the first chapters of the manga.
Absolutely, volume 1.
Yeah, he tells that to a character that is left out in the show. It's a little fairy guy. I think his name, I think it's like Pike or something like that. It's basically kind of like Guts' side companion, like involuntarily, like he just kind of follows him around. And basically, like this dude's trying to be his friend the whole entire time, and Guts is like, yeah, fuck off, I don't care, just leave me alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
being Guts.
there comes a moment where he wants Guts to save somebody, and literally that's what he tells the guys, like, look, I don't have fucking time for this. Like,
if I have to go through you, I will. Just don't.
Yeah.
If we can avoid this, let's just move on.
yeah, literally, he's like, I will literally kill you if you don't get out of my way. Like, this is not a problem to me.
It's Griffith's guys, isn't it? Like it's when they squad up against him. Like it's the first group of guys that like they're like, because Griffith, his soldiers come up to him and say, "Hey, can we attack this guy? He just won this fight. He just killed this massive soldier." It was a mercenary. It was actually the reason why Guts had won so much money in the previous episode 1 is because Guts had killed a high-ranking bounty soldier on the field.
Yeah, the really big guy with the axe, I want to say.
Yeah, and
That's
Guts
like
not
undefeatable.
only cut into this guy's axe with this massive sword, he also took kind of a head wound. And I believe one of the soldiers, or even the guy swinging the axe, said if he hadn't have done that, he would have died. Like he would have, if it had just been like an inch or two over to the left, he would have been dead. But he fucking didn't, and that is how much rage this man has, that he would put his entire life on just the kill.
It's reckless abandonment.
Oh yeah,
That's
oh
exactly
yeah,
what
dude.
it is.
And Guts, after this, there are so many moments where he, like the 100-person kill. Riley, you want to talk about this 100-person kill, bro?
So more or less, there comes a point where Guts is fleeing from a band of mercenaries. He whoops one of their asses. I believe he whoops the leader's ass, and more or less they get salty
Does it
about
twice.
it. Yeah.
He does it twice.
Yeah, whoops his ass twice, and then the guys basically try to go after him. Guts and Casca, one of the other main characters of the series. It's like kind of the only female soldier in Griffith's army or mercenary group.
The three of them are the main characters. Yeah,
more or less. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
should have mentioned her earlier, but
Casa, she doesn't play a pivotal role until a little bit
that's
later.
A
her.
little
She's
bit
all
later
lore.
on, yeah.
Friend, like she sets up the end of it.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
Casa at the beginning. It is Griffith's at this point in time's right hand woman.
yeah,
She kind of makes the calls for Griffith when Griffith doesn't really give a fuck, or if it's really not that big of a deal. She is pretty much the commander of the army at this point in time.
yeah. So her and Guts run off, and this thing happens, and they get cornered by these people. Well, actually, they're in a battle, and Casca gets basically stunned by this leader because she was sick. So she falls off a cliff, and Guts goes after her. So they spend some time in the woods, and then they hide out.
Yes.
Spend some quality time
So that's
in the
some
woods.
interesting section there.
There's
Yeah.
nudity in this anime if you weren't
See
getting what he was
some
dropping.
titties.
Yeah, definitely going to see some boobies in this anime and some
Remember,
nudity.
it's on YouTube.
Yeah,
Berserker 1997. Don't not forget about it.
yeah. So some things transpire. They're hiding. They get caught up by this group. Guts fights off a bunch of them, and then more and more just keep coming. And Casca basically runs off. So Guts is on his own, and over the nighttime, he basically wipes out almost 100 fucking troops on his own. And by the time the reinforcements show up, they think he's dead. He's just laying next to a tree with the sword in his arm and covered in fucking blood. And they're
It's
like,
an iconic scene right there, the imagery of it. So
he more or less just wakes up, and it was just like, oh, I took care of it. You guys should have got here sooner or something like that. I mean,
Another favorite quote of mine from this anime, like, honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you understand. This anime has reached my number 5. Like, it has become a top number 5, and we'll get into that. But my favorite quote from that scene, from that moment, is when he sends Casca off, and he says, okay, 1 man against 100. Let's fucking do this. And he says, by this rate, after he cuts down 50 of them, he says, by this rate, I won't have all your skulls cracked until sunrise.
yeah.
And then in the morning, they show up with reinforcements to help him out. And all of these dead bodies are just surrounding
Yeah.
Guts, dude. He's sitting on this fucking tree just covered in vines and blood and shit. And he's just like, it took you guys fucking long enough. Let's go.
Like, that's all right. I kind of already took care of it, but thanks for showing up
it's
anyways.
so apathetic. I love it.
kind of an egotistical thing too.
Kind of.
Like,
he knows he's the shit.
no, I mean, he does what he says he's gonna do. So I mean, you can't really
Yeah.
be too mad, you know.
But at this time, when this anime is going on and Guts is doing his little journey with Casca, I mean, it's almost perpendicular storyline. We have Griffith, who is literally trying to become king of this country, just a king of a castle. That's his whole dream. He wants to be king. He wants to be king. So while he's doing this, he is hooked up with an army and a kingdom that see them and go, these guys are the shit. We need to keep them. So they keep them. They keep the Band of the Hawk. And it's an army, I believe, of 5,000. And they're sending him up against 10,000 units, 15,000 units, 20,000 units. And they're coming back victorious with very few losses. And so, you know, as this is going on, like, Griffith is trying to gain political control while Guts is controlling military control. I mean, this anime is it's two stories the entire time that you have to keep up on. I mean, that's what's beautiful about it because it comes from two perspectives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More or less like I believe all the kings of a certain part of the world get together and, you know, they're trying to find a group of mercenaries that they want to fight this big epic fucking battle. And the option for Griffith, they're like, all right, yeah, he basically stands up. He's like, I'll do it. So they go to war with this other fucking kingdom and they just dominate them to the point where they basically become royal knights of the main kingdom.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That is one of the most pivotal points in the story. You have the king and all these knights because they're the knights in this show are named after a color and after an animal. And it means the rank or what the group is literally based on. The Band of the Hawk, they are just mercenaries, but you've got the purple rhinos, you've got the blue whales, you've got the white tigers, you've got the white lions. Eventually, I believe the Band of the Hawk becomes the White Hawk.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we also have, I mean, there are animals, there are colors, and what they represent for this army, and they all have this dedication towards the king. They have this giant fucking meeting with everybody, and they say, we can't take this fucking place out. It is the last place out. If we can take this place out, the war is over. It's all we have to do. But we can't get enough people there. And every time we do, we get our fucking dicks beaten to the ground. What are we going to do? And all these other knights are sitting around the corner going, oh, fuck, what are we going to do, guys? What are we going to fucking do? We're a bunch of vaginas. What are we going to fucking do?
Yeah,
It's
nah.
verbatim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking much.
Actual quote.
Pretty fucking much.
Yeah.
So then it fucking happens. And then I think one of the captains, like one of the knight captains bring up Griffith. And Griffith's like, ask me to have it done, and I'm going to do it.
Done.
I'm going to do it. And the king's like, all right, do it. And he's like, all right, 3,000 against 15,000 soldiers. And they fucking decimate the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Dude, Griffith's superpower is leadership and morale.
Yeah.
You fight under
No, it
him,
really
you feel
is.
invincible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're so awesome.
Yeah.
And that's another really cool thing is the Band of the Hawk has obviously a semi-large group. So they need certain leaders to control certain bands and certain groups of this army. And everybody in the army has a backstory and dedication and devotion towards Griffith, and that they explain it throughout the story. So you're getting like the story on why he's such a good guy and why everybody loves and respects him. So you have this pure saint that you are rooting for the entire time while you have this bloodthirsty, lusting motherfucker just swinging this big ass sword around, killing fucking people. So it definitely covers both ends.
They do kind of like make you feel like you should be like more on Griffith's side, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At some
Until
points,
a certain
yeah.
point of where everything kind of goes sideways, but
Yeah.
Sadly, in the story, when this happens, Griffith and Guts get into a fight, and the war is over. Everybody's been knighted. All these peasants that were a part of the Band of the Hawk are now noble knights. Everybody's proud. It is such a good fucking night, and everybody's in jubilee. And Guts says, the war is over. It's time for me to find my dream. It's time for me to live my life and do my thing.
Yeah, because up until that point, he's just been fighting for somebody else, and that's
Yep.
his big conflict. He's like, I'm not really doing anything for me. Like I've gotten to where I need to be. I'm gonna go off on my own now and chase my dream, which that's just fuck. He doesn't really have a purpose. He's just like, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go find it, and that's it. Tries to take off, and then him and Griffith come to a head.
He's like, "What do you mean I own you?"
Yeah, he tries to leave, and he's like,
Where you going?
He literally says to him, like, I told you a long time ago when our swords last crossed that I own you now.
Yeah.
Like, you're not allowed to leave.
So this is a beginning pact from like I said, the fight between Griffith.
It goes
and
back
Guts.
to the first episode.
The first fucking episode.
Complete and total callback. And then right after that, like, you know, they're trying to talk Casca and other people are trying to talk Guts out of it. He's like, no, I'm doing this. And it's not even like 2 seconds, and he's got Griffith basically in a position where he's like, I can fucking kill you. And he just basically puts his sword back and walks away. And
dude, and Griffith's just broken
just
after that.
devastated,
Dude.
just 100% devastated.
This angelic creature that you saw before you that had high regards for this kingdom.
How did he let Guts do that to him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, how this guy that I basically owned, my slave.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah, no, so it's
My
stronger than me
warrior.
now. Yeah,
Yeah. Fucking.
I mean,
got
but
put in his place.
can you blame Guts? I mean, he was in every single fight.
no. I don't blame Guts at all.
He was in every single fight. He was constantly training to
I love
get
the fact
better
that,
than
dude, I
Griffith.
love that Griffith got put in check. It's one of my favorite parts, honestly.
Yeah.
It really is.
And like you said, it broke him
As a
at that
character,
point. Like
it did.
it completely crippled Griffith. It crippled the Band of the Hawks when he left. Right after that, Griffith leaves and commits act that I won't shed too much light on, and it basically just ruins his fucking life from that point on.
Yeah.
And it sends
He
him
ends
down a
up-
spiral of just utter fucking doom, if anything.
He ends up getting caught sneaking out of the princess's room at night or in the morning. And as he's leaving, the royal guard catch him. And at this point, Griffith and the princess there's no spoken word during this period. You know, you're betrothed to who you need to be.
Yeah.
And he just was doing, fuckboy shit at this point in time.
Yeah, he was basically just like flexing himself.
princess.
Got white hair, girl.
How about we
Hey.
have a little sex?
Right.
So
Not
I've-
asking.
Yeah, I'm not.
I wasn't
asking.
gonna spoil it for you guys, but Tyler here has a habit
He
of
does it every
wanting
every
to
episode,
fucking spoil
man.
things. We're
Every
sorry,
episode.
listeners.
We're talking about this whole story, dude.
It's like the fourth time Riley's like, I don't want to talk about it. Tyler's like, but I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, this isn't the first time.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have to. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. I gotta fucking do it.
So what's kind of controversial about when all this happens is more or less, and I was watching this a few weeks ago thinking this, I'm like, he kind of just raped the princess. Like, it just, like, he kind of like forced himself on her to the point where he was just like, come on, let's do it. And she's like, no, I don't want to. And he's like, well, you gonna be a little bitch? Are you scared? Like, come on, give up that ass. And she's like, oh, well, maybe if I just, oh. And then, yeah, the maid sees it through the keyhole and alerts all the guards. And it's just like, you basically just picked the forbidden fruit off the fucking tree. That
You had it right there, dude.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest part about the opening of Berserk is there is a devil dirty fucking monster hand reaching for this fruit on this tree, and that is exactly how I feel Griffith is. He is always this monster that is reaching for something that he can't grasp.
Yeah.
He might be beautiful on the outside, but as you start to learn who he is after he is broken as a human being, he is
He
a
goes down a dark
fucking
path.
monster.
It really does.
I
He is
mean,
a fucking monster.
from that point on, he gets captured, tortured for like 3 fucking like a
we're
year
talking
straight, like
real torture too,
like,
not like
hung up and more or less like almost drawn and quartered, like having spikes shoved into his
Yeah.
body, like
It's-
cut up everywhere, like atrophied all his muscles to where they don't work anymore. Like,
he's in the dungeon, literally.
yeah,
in darkness.
Mhm.
yeah,
In darkness.
just getting fucked with every single day for a year.
And malnourished, not fed, just
Yeah, it's
He's got that necklace, the
Bailet,
the
yeah.
Bailet, and the Bailet, it speaks to him. It speaks to him. And as it's speaking to him, it is removed from his neck by the guy who's torturing him and throws it down the fucking drain.
Yeah, just fucking just is like, I won't be needing this anymore. Throws it down a fucking like a vent or something, and it's just gone.
This necklace he has worn since day one with no explanation.
And there's points
thrown down the drain.
There's points when he's being tortured where he looks into that same spot where the necklace was thrown, and you see a certain group of people talking to him, like kind of coaching him, like, time's almost here, like things are gonna happen, don't worry. And then shortly after that, the whole rescuing arc happens. But before we talk about that too much, there's actually a bit of romance going on between two certain main characters.
Guts and Casca finally get it on. The sexual tension is real the entire time.
Yeah, which kind of happens before, or I want to say after, the whole fight with the 100-man fight. I want to say it's shortly after that.
It's shortly after that. So so the timeline goes that Guts beats Griffith. Guts leaves. Guts goes and travels for a year. He ends up with the blacksmith, and the blacksmith recreates his sword because unfortunately it is broken at one point in time. And then he comes back.
Yeah, he actually trains with the blacksmith for like a year, I want to say.
He trains with the blacksmith, and that's what makes him, I guess, stronger. I'm not sure, but it really doesn't really show it as much. But he comes back, and as he's traveling, he's with the blacksmith, and as he's with the blacksmith gets a note about a group of bandits hiding in the woods, and Guts is like, "What are these bandits called?" And he says, "The Band of the Hawk." And that's when Guts freaks out, jumps on a horse, and makes his headway to the Band of the Hawk.
Yes, and then he gets reunited with them, and then, basically lights a fire underneath their ass. It's like, look, because they've fallen apart at this point. Yeah. People have abandoned them, or people have died, and it's just Casca and like some of the OGs of the Band of the Hawks hanging in there. He basically pulls them out of the fire, and they're like, all right, we're going to go get Griffith. This is what's happening. So they venture off to the castle, break the fuck in there to the dungeon.
Find this decrepit old skeleton of a human being.
Yeah, just a former shell of a once valiant fucking hero of a man.
With his helmet on.
Just been completely crippled. Yeah.
Fucking iconic.
Could he not take it off? Is that what was up? I can't remember.
I think they because he didn't have the helmet on when they captured him.
He just didn't like how he looked, or
they disfigured his face. I think
that's what it is.
Yeah, because Guts takes his helmet off when they rescue him, and he's just like, oh my god, and puts it back on.
Yeah, because he was so pretty. Yeah. They were like, they wanted to fuck up his pretty face or something.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, okay. It's like Fight Club. Like, oh, I just wanted to destroy something beautiful. Like. Jared Leto gets the fuck beat out of him. Hey guys, it's Riley from Misfortunate Media here. Since you've gotten this far in the episode, you should definitely check out our other shows, Minimus Fortune, our news show, Morning Cup of Chaos, and last but not least, our anime show, which is called And Now I Mention Everything. We upload shows weekly to Spotify, RSS, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you fulfill your podcast listening needs. Also, don't forget to check out our extra content on our Patreon page that we upload bi-monthly, something like that, whenever we feel like it. But we would just like to take a second here to say thank you so much for tuning in, and always stay misfortunate. So basically, yeah, he's just completely malnourished and just like I said, a former shell of what he used to be,
It is so sad.
And it's funny as they all get down to the dungeon where he's at, and the door closes behind them, and it's like the torture master is there, and he's just like, you're all fucked now, got you right where I want you.
One of my favorite parts, honestly.
Yeah, he's just like, this door is 3 times as impenetrable as any other door in this castle. Good luck getting through it. And then Guts just fucking jams his giant fucking sword through the door, stabs the guy.
Yeah.
Just completely shatters the door by like piercing it. Stabs the guy, literally holding the guy on a sword, like over a cliff
like
side.
over the hole.
Yeah. And the guy's begging him like, oh, please don't kill me, we can work this out. And he's just like, fuck you.
It's like, dude, the most sadistic character in the whole show is the torture guy, the torture master. Looks like a hunchback dude.
Yeah.
Enjoys hurting people.
Yeah. He's like, I can't wait to hurt you.
Yeah. He's fucking creepy.
Then I will sodomize you. Which that might have happened.
Probably a couple times.
Oh yeah, by the way, that's kind of a theme in all of Berserk. It's kind of not all like sodomy rapey, but there's like a lot of like
There's a
weird
lot
sexual.
of
like,
sodomy.
There's the
A lot
part
of-
with the king, like the original king
Yeah.
and Berserk, more or less, like, or I'm sorry, like Guts basically, or I'm sorry, Griffith more or less, like exchanges a favor to the king
Of the bad guys.
of the bad guys to kind of help both sides in a weird way. Like, the king has an affliction for younger boys that he likes to sodomize.
booty.
Yeah, it's fucked up. And then Griffith's like, "All right, well, how about this? I'll just let you fuck me if you give us this backup for this army, or like you let us fight first or something." I can't 100%.
I think he gave him
remember.
funds. I think it was
Yeah,
he had a lot of
Yeah.
he gave him the
Very
money
rich.
to like, yeah, that's right. You're correct.
So there is a lot of sodomy. There is a lot of pretty rough moments for viewers' eyes. So definitely
Uncomfortable.
So definitely
moments,
don't watch
yeah.
it with your fucking kids. If you're watching with your kids, what the fuck's wrong with you? I made sure mine were in bed, especially at every scene of it being on period.
Yeah, there's some very uncomfortable moments that are like, like I'm pretty sure like one of the most famous things I've heard about Berserk before I even watched it. It's like, oh, this episode, this timestamp is where somebody gets raped, basically, and I'm just like, oh, that's nice. And
Thank
dark.
you for knowing that on top of your head.
Yeah, yeah, like okay.
I don't. They have. Okay, so basically, once they get Griffith out of his torture chamber, they get him up, and one of my favorite scenes in almost any anime ever is in this, and it's when there is a captain and his guards talking at the top of the stairs, talking about Guts and how he did not kill 100 people.
Oh yeah, they're like, oh, that's a bunch of horse shit. That
He
didn't
might have
happen.
killed 10, but he didn't kill 100. There's
Yeah.
no way he killed 100.
Yeah, exactly. Just
And
like the
it was
classic.
100% 100 people. Yeah.
He just comes busting out, like starts fucking knocking fucking skulls back like it's nothing, and the dude's like, okay, maybe you weren't lying.
Yeah.
And that's the best part about it, man. He fucking slams through it, and then he gets back with the rest of the band of the Hawk. Griffith is finally back with the rest of the band of the Hawk.
After
dude.
all this time, but he is not
All
the
this-
same
what's
way
left
he
of him,
left.
yeah.
He is literally, he looks like a Holocaust victim, but worse.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty. He's emaciated.
Like Mason said earlier, he's physically paralyzed now. He is all skin and bones. There is no chance
He
of
can't
this
even like
man.
hold himself up.
He
right?
can't even talk.
Yeah, he
they
can't
they
even
cut
talk.
his tongue out.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they just completely fucking mutilated this guy,
Yeah,
head to toe.
yeah,
I mean, it's
and then
very
it is
graphic.
very rough.
They get him back to the camp. They try to nurse him back to health. And they have a moment where basically, like, Griffith's seeing how Casca and Guts interact with each other, and he instantly fucking gets, like, pissed, like, just insanely jealous, because the bond that Griffith and Casca share is, he saved Casca as a child from being raped by this guy. And, like, more or less, like, he just showed up and was just like, all right, I'm going to save you, blah, blah, blah. Now you can do whatever you want. She's like, well, I want to come with you. And that's basically from that point on, they're together. So, he's watching basically somebody that's really important to him that, she wanted to always be with him. I mean, she pretty much was
Day
just-
one.
Since day one.
She didn't want to. She didn't want to get with Guts
I was
because
saying,
she was.
wasn't there a
so
scene like before the princess where she was like kind of like professing her love to Griffith? He's like,
More or
yeah,
less.
no, I only really care about just
getting a kingdom?
He's
yeah,
more or
he's like, I'm
less
just gonna
like,
use whoever I want to use to get what I want.
well, he's like, this isn't your place. He's like, your place isn't up there with me. Your place is
that's
like,
what it is.
Yeah.
You're below me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it turns into this whole thing, and she gets pissed off, and like Guts is more or less like kind of forced on her the whole time, like, and he's trying to help her and be supportive, like, I mean, when they fall off that cliff, he literally like gets naked with her and like keeps her warm, because that was the only way they could survive, and that's how the show starts out with him. It's the other way around. So like all this shit happens, they grow closer, she tells her story to Guts, and then Griffith's kind of seeing their bond unfold, and he gets jealous, and then Guts talks about leaving, tells Casca to come with him, and she's not for it at first, but then she's like, all right, I'll do it. And then, all the other band of the Hawks, they hear about Guts leaving again, and they're like, well, we're just going to come with you. Like, you're going to be our new leader. That's how it's going to go down. And Casca hears that, and she starts talking to Guts again right outside of the wagon that Griffith's
the
in.
wagon, yep.
And he somehow manages to like prop himself up to where he can escape on the wagon and take off. And then what happens after that is basically the fucking climax of the show, and where things just get downright insane.
So they eventually find themselves at the end of this fucking hill where Griffith's carriage has broken apart, and he is in this puddle, I believe. He's in this pond.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, he hears something, but he's trying to find out what it is, and it's his necklace.
Well, he tries to kill himself first.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, he sees like
Yeah.
a sharp, jagged rock sticking out of the pond, and he tries to like force his neck onto
But
it to kill himself.
Weak.
But he can't. He like
Yeah.
ends up just cutting the side of his neck.
Yeah.
But then he looks down and
He sees the necklace,
yeah,
and he gets the necklace, and it starts speaking to him, and that misshapen face on this egg starts to turn into a human fucking face. There is nose, there's eyes, there's mouth, and it is something that you obviously have been able to see since the beginning. Every time you've seen that necklace, you can see the face. You just can't wait for it to form, and you can't wait to hear it say something. And at this point in time, it says something. It is literally just a high-pitched scream, and its eyes open, and in their Griffith's eyes, and they're bleeding tears.
yeah, because it's actually the eclipse.
Yes.
It happens to just be at that time the
Yeah.
eclipse, and that's when the thing awakens.
That's your poster over there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the wall
Got
scroll.
the wall scroll over there.
It's
with
that scene. Yep.
Yep.
It made me feel so much better after I watched the show and realized that.
What it
Oh,
was,
fuck,
yeah.
yeah.
But if you go back to what the demon said, he had brought this up at the beginning, that this was going to be how everything went down.
So
Yeah.
this is the part where you realize you remember the demon and what had happened, and now the whole show flips into even darkerness.
But
and
even
demons.
even at that point, Griffith's inner monologue is saying like, "Stay the fuck away from me, Guts." Like, because if you come up and touch me right now, like you're gonna be dragged down to wherever I'm going to. And, you know, of course, it's not like he can talk to him, so Guts is like fucking full speed ahead towards Griffith, trying to save him and pull him out of this pond, and then it just snaps into fucking basically they go to hell. And like the eclipse happens, and like everything around them just turns into basically fucking, like, I don't know, how would you guys describe it?
flesh, hell,
Face hell.
It's
Like, the ground
There's
is
so
like
much
heads
face.
and
Yeah.
faces. And
There's so much face.
yeah, right.
All of the face.
All the face.
literally like the hills in the background are heads like
Yeah.
looking up, and it's just insane. Like, just the chaos is just fucking unfolding before them. Like, it's so insane. You see like these demon soldiers.
What's the name of that artist that did that one? Geiger or something?
H.R. Geiger.
That's what it
Geiger,
reminds me
yeah.
of.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that
it's
kind
very-
of it's very dark and kind
very
of
Geiger-esque.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
100%. I
And
agree.
that's the part that makes me jealous, is if I could have saved that image of them going into that hell where there are just all these faces, and you've got these four main demons at the top, and everything's face and red and it's bloody. I would have loved to have seen that in the manga. I bet the manga would have made me feel things
Right.
about that
Yeah.
image that the anime could not have.
Oh, I'm sure you most definitely get to see all of that unfold, and probably way more graphic version than what was in the anime. What's kind of cool about that too is when I was watching it, because like I said before, I went back and watched the Golden Age movies. What I didn't like about the movie version of that happening is they completely changed the whole entire color scheme of it. Like, everything is like purple instead of red
instead
and
of
black.
red,
Yeah.
It's really weird. Like, it was still cool. Like, all the Demon Kings looked really cool, but I don't know, it just kind of took some of the eerie, like, scary feeling away from it.
When you watch the 1997 one and everything's red and
If
everything's
you think of a
black.
color in Berserk, it's red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Red and
Everywhere.
black.
Yeah, red and black.
Yeah.
But what I was kind of getting at was, like, I think some of the designs of the Demon Kings was like two guys in particular was like really derivative of Hellraiser almost.
Oh yeah.
Definitely kind of gave off that
Yeah,
vibe.
see that.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the demons that they have are so fucking terrifying looking, and they belong in that kind of like setting though.
Yeah.
It is like the end of the world. These are the four guys that are gonna rule your fucking asses for the next couple, I don't know, forever.
Yeah.
They have
really no time limit on it.
Yeah, so they show up and they're sitting there talking to Griffith, and they're looking at this fucking decrepit, bony-ass skeleton, Jack Skellington-looking motherfucker with somehow sort of hair on his head, looking at him saying, if you want this dream, if you want this kingdom, agree to what we have to offer you.
Yeah.
You are the king of the demons. You are what is going to rule us into the next fucking future. Let's fucking do this.
Yeah.
And he just sees this kingdom. He doesn't care about the faces that have to perish. He doesn't care about the friends he's going to lose. He doesn't care about all this other
does.
He sees it, but he doesn't care, dude. If you still accept that fucking without hesitation, he does not give a fuck, dude.
Well, he does until he sees Guts, and he was just like, out of all the people I've fought, out of all the battles I've faced, you were the only thing that has stood in the way of my dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then just as soon as he says that, he's like, fuck it, I'm doing it. And then
Gets his kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He becomes Femto.
Yeah. You wanted to, okay. So when Griffith accepts the heart, or the egg, my bad. When he accepts the egg, he becomes this cocoon inside of a fist where these demons sit upon, and the Band of the Hawk get teleported into this hell-like dimension where everything is face and red and blood and violence, and there's so much gore. And all of a sudden, this brainy demon that leads the group says, we're going to put this fucking stamp on you.
Yeah.
And this stamp, when you get sacrificed, you're giving him power, bro.
Yeah.
I forget his name. It's like, it starts with a Z or something, I
don't
think.
remember.
I just saw it earlier today, too. I feel bad because I just watched the show. Because basically they tell them, like, you know, like when they all show up, the Demon Kings are like, oh, you're going to make such a good sacrifice. And they're like, Guts is like, I'm not being sacrificed for anything. She's like, no, all of you are going to
Not
make
just
great
you.
sacrifices. Like,
They slap this fucking sweet. I don't know how to explain it. It's like an infinity sign, but
like an
diamonds,
insignia.
but like going up and down, but the diamonds at the top don't meet. I mean, it is insane. And they all get it in these random spots, and you just watch the Band of the Hawk, all these people that actually meant something to Guts, get slaughtered left and fucking right. Left and right. There's so much blood.
Very
there's so
epically.
much gore.
Yeah.
There's so much
It's
everything.
just-
It plays on all their faults. I mean, there's one character that is obsessed with women. One of the demons turns into a woman, and he falls into her breasts, and then it turns into a demon and eats his fucking
Eats
ass.
him, yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it literally meets their greatest flaws with their greatest fears type of hell. And Guts is sitting there slaughtering them left and right, worrying about Casca, worrying about Griffith, worrying about the rest of the band, trying to get everybody safe, but everybody is dying one by fucking one while he is just fucking doing it.
There is no like battle. Like it's a
It's
losing
just-
fucking
no,
battle.
yeah.
Fucking
Like,
slaughter.
It's a sacrifice.
yeah, because
I mean,
basically,
they're-
like Void, who is the brain demon king that you were talking about earlier.
Void?
His name is Void.
Mhm.
Yes, he brands everybody with that insignia, and what that insignia does is it attracts demons to you. It's basically like once you have that on your body, like you're marked for sacrifice. Like there's no escaping it. The only way out is death, and that later on becomes like how like once all of that is said and done, like once they go through this battle and everything, and you know we'll talk more about that. Like that's Guts' main quest in the manga is he's back in the real world with that on his neck. He's marked, and basically wherever he goes, demons follow him, and anytime a demon shows up, it starts bleeding on the side of his neck.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking crazy. Like it's there's so much I want to tell you, but I don't want to spoil.
mean,
Like
So we're gonna get to the end of the anime because, like I said, it's been out since 1997. It's been out for a while. Like
yeah,
we can talk about this original anime, we can talk about the manga, and we can talk about apparently the not great movie that came out. So we'll get
Yeah.
into that. We're wrapping up. So yeah. Huh.
Air.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let it out.
Fuck you
It's
guys.
okay.
Hold on.
So more or less, like we're just saying, as far as our listeners here, like we know that there's a lot more to expand on with this genre of anime, or this franchise, more or less. But we kind of just want to focus on the anime side of things here because the
Yes.
manga is so expansive and
Also
so
wanna just
fucking long.
41
just want to ease people into it that don't know. If you're listening to this and you know Berserk, then you know with us. You're right along with us on the story. But if you don't know, it's a lot to digest.
Sorry, as much as I want to read 354 chapters of a manga in a week, it's not happening right now.
It's hard.
I'd have to shut out the rest of my life.
Especially when the first 9 chapters are prologues, like you were telling me earlier. You're like, the first
9 chapters of prologues, it doesn't even get into it until chapter 10.
That's like when he was a kid, right? Like a lot of it.
No, it's actually after the fact.
After it?
The prologue is actually after everything in the anime goes down.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's basically the aftermath. Like, he has a new arm. I mean, he's got a bunch of weapons now besides the sword.
We haven't even talked about that yet.
No.
Yeah, hold on.
No, we're getting to it. So, yeah, more or less prologue. I think the layout of the manga is prologue is basically what you see in the first episode of the anime where he's in the woods running away from the demons, but it's more expanded on that. And then once it gets into the actual manga, like chapter 1 is the actual story from the anime and so on.
Right.
I'm sure it probably flip-flops back and forth between the past and the future. So, but anyway, as all of these fucking soldiers are getting assaulted in hell, I mean, what else happens?
Well, we also have Sean Schimmel, who's actually a part of the Goku.
Yeah.
It's the voice of Goku who is in this anime, and it is fucking hilarious because he's in random spots, and Sean Schimmel and all these other fucking people are just getting slaughtered left and right, left and right, left and right. Guts and Sean Schimmel's character, the last 2 people besides Casca, who is at this point a little tied up.
You could say that, yeah.
More or less. Like,
so that's as deep as I'm going to get with that.
I don't don't spoil that one.
No.
Let them figure that one out.
She's a bit tied out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That's
she's busy.
yeah.
And it's literally Sean and fucking Guts alive.
Yeah, it
and,
falls into the pool of blood where all the other soldiers are.
And Guts is looking around. He's like, is anybody alive? Is anybody alive? Then you hear Goku's voice go, yeah, I'm still alive. What's up? And he's missing an arm. And then you watch Goku die, and it is so sad.
Head just fucking explodes. Oh, Guts, you made it. Which I don't think that actually happened. I think it was just an illusion because he looks around 3 different times and sees 3 people that he thinks are still alive, and they all just fucking die instantly. I want to say because the big guy that Casca was that was helping Casca when she ran off initially.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but because he sees him die again, and then the Sean Schimmel guy dies, and then somebody else dies. It's just it's bad. It's all bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of main characters that abruptly die in the last episode. And then so now we're left with Guts and Casca and Griffith.
Yeah.
And Griffith emerges from his cocoon, as we can call it. Because he is a butterfly.
He's a butterfly. He's pretty.
He's a peacock.
He's a peacock. He's a hawk. I don't really know. He's a purple thing with wings.
He's Batman.
Yeah, let's go with that.
He's the guy from Hunter x Hunter, Fro.
So hold on.
Butterfly.
Hold on. Do you guys remember Dexter's Lab? You guys remember Dexter's Lab?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
The Blue Falcon.
Man, I'm about to look up a picture.
The Blue Falcon with the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, he had the dog, the robot dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he looked just like that. I mean, but
more or less, yeah.
But purple. He looked like that, but purple.
More evil.
Yeah, more instead of
I'm about to be hit with fucking nostalgia.
Dude, it's
gonna
gonna blow your fucking mind. Go ahead, pull it up. Pull it up.
Oh my fucking god!
Am I not wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking dude. I forgot how badass the dog looked too. That he runs with that
I
dog.
forget what the dog's name is.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
That's what he looks like, dude.
Yeah.
He looks like a fucking Megazord or something. Or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Well, no, actually, it was like a softer dog. That was Dexter's version of it. He turned him into a new robot, but
something
anyway,
like that. Anywho,
back to Berserk.
Yeah.
But Griffith emerges from this cocoon, looking like the Blue Falcon, but purple.
Yeah.
If you haven't Googled it, do it now, even if you're driving.
He becomes the 5th Demon King known as Femto.
Yes. And he comes down, and Guts is tied up. He's got a demon on him that is attached to his face, and he's got one ripping at his arm.
Yeah, demon just runs up, bites his fucking, I believe it's his left arm, I want to say. And basically, Griffith just comes down, just sits there and just fucking stares at him, gives him this menacing look, and then you see Casca get lowered next to him, and then let's just say some
explicitory shit happens.
Another explicit scene happens.
That you won't forget.
And Griffith, basically, the act he commits, it just does it out of pure spite. Looks Guts in the eye the whole
look at him the whole time.
The whole fucking time. And literally, Guts is just fighting with every will in his body to break free, to the point where he does what?
Rips his arm off.
He rips his arm off. He his sword. The sword that he has is not his giant sword. It is a piece of shit sword that he found, and he was sitting there, and it broke, trying to get his arm free, and then he decided, I'm gonna cut my arm off with this broken piece of sword
without a fucking second thought either. Like, breaks the sword up against the demon, just smacking it, and then he just looks at it and he's like, fuck it, just starts chopping away at his own fucking arm. Like, I mean, if that were me, like, I mean, I'm sorry, like, I don't think I could have it in me to do that.
No, and it, like, when he does it, everybody is staring at him. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And what really sucks is he does that, and then right away gets pinned to the fucking ground again.
He accomplishes nothing.
No. Literally, like, just made things worse. And then, it's actually, like you were saying, the demons are holding him down. One of them is just digging his fucking claw into his eye the whole time. And that's how he loses his eye.
Gory fucking anime.
Yeah.
I have ever fucking seen to this day. It has become a part of my top 5.
Yeah.
And if you have listened this far into this podcast episode, I highly suggest you get on YouTube right now and you check out Berserk 1997. It'll change your fucking life. I have always planned for a One Piece tattoo to be my handpiece. And watching this, I want the Egg of the King.
The Bailet.
I want the Bailet. I want the eyes open. I want Griffith's eyes bleeding as a handpiece. I think that would be fucking sick.
That would be pretty cool.
Yes. So I want to
Let's talk about the downside of this, though, as far as, like, you see that last scene, and then it's just over. The anime just stops.
Oh, don't even get me started on that fucking ending. That fucking ending pissed me off harder than anything I've ever been pissed off before, because I was like, oh, so I had paused it. Riley came over to my house, and he was like, hey, we gotta go do something real quick. So I paused it, and I saw that there was 8 minutes left on my TV. And I was like, I'm at the end of this. Like, I should be done with this anime. He should have killed these people. We should have been moved on.
We should be in Happy Town right now, wrapping everything up.
Yeah, and it's not.
No.
And it ends so abruptly that it ends. There's no
literally, you're not. Yeah, there's
no resolution.
Well, if you want to see the end, like I said before, you don't have to watch all the Golden Age arc movies. If you ask me, they're not that much different from the show, other than the animation, of course. Story is basically just a shortened version of the anime.
Shorter, though.
Yeah, it's just the abridged version, more or less. But they put so much more time into that last scene. It's literally like the last hour of the movie is them in hell.
Yeah.
Really?
It's a huge part of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
And
it's good.
It doesn't really go any deeper than what you see in the anime, but it adds about another like 35 minutes. And you see what happens. You see how they escape. And it's really fucking random and didn't quite make sense to me. Like, I feel like they kind of like rewrote the story there. Like, I haven't read that far into the manga, so I can't really say.
Yeah.
But they basically a character who will remain nameless comes in, saves Guts, saves Casca, fucks shit up for a second, and then they just bounce.
And they're out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what sucks after that is Casca is just like fucking traumatized. Like, things kind of start to go back to normal, and Guts like tries to approach her, and she just flips the fuck out.
Yeah, she's like basically lost her mind after that, kind of, right? She's she doesn't really talk or anything. She's just kind of.
Yeah, she has like extreme PTSD
Yeah.
from it. Like
Mhm.
Guts tries to console her, and she's like,
Don't
touch me, get off me." Yeah, like
freaks the
it's
fuck out.
it's fucking crazy. And then like it actually, I want to say like it goes on like another 15 minutes, and you kind of get like a summarization of the end of that part of the arc. And then, as I said earlier, the other anime for Berserk picks up from where that leaves off, which is about, I want to say, probably like 50 to 70 episodes, a few seasons. You can watch it on Crunchyroll, but you have to watch it in the animation style that it's like this 3D weird.
I try to
like-
keep an open mind when it comes to a lot of artistic representations, but I honestly, the last time I tried to get through it, I couldn't finish it. I got like 5 or 6 episodes in, and it was like, because it hurt me because I love Berserk so much, and I was like, man, this is not doing it justice. This animation is that bad. Like,
Yeah,
it's taking away from it, and that's why I think a lot of Berserk people don't necessarily don't like to brag about it, because everybody's like, oh yeah, I've seen it, the animation fucking sucks, and you're like, no, there's
Yeah.
so much more than that. That's not what it is.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier in this podcast, it does expand on several arcs from the manga. I don't know where it ends. I don't know how it ends, but if that's where you're at and you don't really want to read the manga, like that would be the next step, is to watch those. But just know,
Just know,
just
it's
know
bad.
it's
bad.
not going to be as good as the 97 version as
No.
far as
Honestly,
animation.
like I said, the 97. I'm a fanfic fanatic for this fucking type of with the style of anime. Like I am a huge fan of 90s anime style. It is where it is at for me. I feel like the artist with his manga series, I've seen some of the most grotesque fucking imagery from this artist.
Yeah.
Kentaro, I mean, he has there have been, 50 million copies in circulation of Berserk just within 2022 or 2002, my bad. There have been 50 million copies sold. That's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's impressive. Yeah,
A lot of people say the golden age is the 80s, 90s. I mean, you think of like Akira and Fist of the North Star and all that other shit, the animation
I
style
still
is
haven't
completely
seen Fist of
different.
the North Star.
Just-
Just
it's great.
hand drawn and
Yeah.
super gory, gruesome, intricate. Like,
It's very unique in its own right. I feel like that's where anime kind of peaked early on, and definitely I wish like they could animate stuff like that in that style in modern day. They definitely could. I just feel like they choose not to.
Yeah.
it just takes
That's
forever,
okay.
man.
Yeah, it definitely does.
So I say we end this fucking episode with a quote. Yeah, give me a quote, Riley.
Okay, wait.
We got a quote here. Not sure who it's from.
It's from the fucking.
It's Kentaro Mirai. And he had said, with no relations to social status, class, background, whether it suits them or not, people yearn for a dream. Sustained by a dream, hurt by a dream, revived by a dream, killed by a dream. And even after being abandoned by a dream, it continues to smolder from the bottom of one's heart, probably until the verge of death. A man should envision such a lifetime once, a life spent as a martyr to the god named Dream. Ultimately to be born and then to simply live for no better reason, I can't abide by such a life. They are excellent troops. Together we have faced death so many times. They are my valuable comrades, devoting themselves to the dream I envision. But to me, a friend is something else. Someone who would never depend on another's dream. Someone who wouldn't be compelled by anyone, but would determine and pursue his own reason to live. And should anyone trample that dream, he would oppose him, body and soul, even if that threat were me, myself. What I think a friend is one who is my equal.
And that was Griffith.
That was Griffith.
That was a
Yeah.
Griffith quote right there.
That was a Griffith.
And
quote.
he touched on that a lot. I mean, there were points in the show where he was like, "You are not my equal to Guts." He's like, "You're just not. Like, you're
No.
not on my level. Sorry."
No, and that is the whole standard of it all, man.
Yeah, and that calls back to like when they have that last encounter when Guts leaves. I mean, he knows at that point. He's like, "Fuck, he is my equal now. He overpowered me, and I'm not used to that." And it just destroyed him.
Yep.
It was crazy.
So with that, I think I'm your silver-haired, blue-eyed, always demon king of the North, Tyler Campbell.
And I am you're second in command of this. I don't know. I definitely didn't have something as cool as Tyler to say there. I will say this. We do appreciate your guys' listenership.
Absolutely.
Be sure to check us out at Minimus Fortune on Spotify, Misfortunate Media. We've got 2 other shows. Minimus Fortune, of course, Morning Cup of Chaos. We post weekly to all streaming platforms as far as podcasts go. You can pretty much find us fucking anywhere that has podcasts.
Yes, sir.
So with that being said, I am Riley Wallen, and this guy to my left is...
It's your boy Guts.
It's your boy Guts, a.k.a. Mason.
We are fucking out.
Out.
See ya.